Here for the next shift, pal.
Dude, about time! Don't worry though, nothing's really happening.
No!
Spoke too soon.
Dude, is that the prince?
No! No! Wait! No!
Your Highness!
Stay away from me!
Prince Shining!
Stay away, you! You're one of them! Stay away from me!
I'm just saying, Sherlock, I fail to see how you managed to eat all those. Especially with all the sugar you put on them, it keeps you up for ages.
One thing you should know about the Hooves family, Trotson, is our intense love of pastries. Plus, as you know, the sugar serves as a beneficial use because of the high that follows, which allows me to focus with a greater amount of energy when working on a case.
But we aren't on a case. We just came from the bakery is all. Wait, you have family, Sherlock? It was not until then that I had even given a thought of other ponies being related and possibly being very much like Sherlock. Logically, he would have a family, relatives who shared the same brilliance, and other things. The idea both worried and interested me. Little did I know I would soon be meeting one such member.
Well, of course I have family, and you would know that if you ever paid attention.
Well, excuse me if it's hard to decipher any information through that mess you call a study.
It isn't a mess if I know exactly where everything is. Honestly, you're nearly as bad as Mrs. Hudson. I smell tea. Mrs. Hudson, do you have company?
In a manner of speaking.
Actually, she's here for you, Sherlock. Such a shame. You should invite her over more often.
Hello, Mycroft. Whatever could be the reason you're here.
Oh, come now, Sherlock. Is that really how you greet your big sister?
You're the pony from the concert!
What are you talking about, John?
This is the pony I was trying to tell you about at the Stradivarius dedication. She said that she would take care of our debts.
Ah, that was you? Sticking your nose in where it doesn't belong, as always.
I must, brother mine, when it concerns your welfare. You certainly don't pay heed. Or bills.
Well, this is certainly a surprise, and we were just talking about family as well.
Were you? Did he mention that his elder sister held a minor position in the equestrian government?
Minor. Whispering in the princess's ears, or being the head of the EUP. I didn't think you could humble yourself that much.
The EUP?
Head is such a strong word. I merely offer guidance to them.
Well, actually that was the topic of conversation. He actually has never told me anything about you. If I had known before that you were his sister...
Yes, well, you might guess he may be a bit jealous. He's never really gotten over how I'm a tad brighter than him.
Nonsense, utter nonsense.
Perhaps this will rejuvenate your ego. I actually need your help with a very high-profile problem.
Oh my, let's hope it's big enough to pay the rent this month.
Have no fear, Mrs. Hudson. Regardless, it shall be paid. Now, my dear gal, could you please refresh my cup of tea in the kitchen while I discuss the case with my brother? Hush-hush stuff, you know.
Very well, but I want them both home and alive when they come back.
Now then, Sherlock, remember when you concocted a way to test a pony's blood to see if it was actually a changeling?
Oh, I remember that. It was when you and I first met, Sherlock. Taught me to be careful with lights around you when you have your beakers out.
Yes, it certainly did. By the way, just how did you come to know about that experiment, Mycroft? I only just recently perfected it enough for academic publication.
Actually, I think that may be my fault. It was already published, but only as a small part of one of my writings for the paper.
That is indeed the case. Your companion certainly has a way with words, Sherlock. It would do you well not to lose this one.
Sherlock, what does she mean by lose this one?
I wouldn't be worried about that. I would be more worried about the fact that my sister is spying on me with those articles of yours in the what was it again? The Canterlot Gazette, the Equestria Daily, or something. Regardless, it is not the matter of importance. The matter of importance is to whom I am supposed to perform the changeling test on.
Quite right. I'm sure you all remember the changeling invasion in Canterlot the night of the royal wedding.
Fondly.
Well, another threat of changeling invasion has been made, but this time on the Crystal Empire. Prince Shining Armor was supposedly ambushed and attacked one night by a group of them. He claims the Queen herself threatened an incoming invasion, seeking revenge on the prince and princess for blasting them off into the Badlands. The reason why this hasn't been made national news is because only the prince himself actually saw them. The castle staff and the royal couple are keeping it quiet for fear of raising a panic in the public and perhaps rousing the changeling horde before the Empire has a chance to defend itself. The castle itself has tripled its defensive efforts, but given the nature of changelings, that may in fact be worsening the situation, with more guard staff meaning easier ways to hide in the crowd. That is why I need you, Sherlock, to go to the Crystal Empire and administer the changeling blood test to the guard staff. We need to weed out the pests and hopefully prevent the invasion entirely.
Brilliant! I've always wanted to travel up north anyway, and solving a case involving shape-shifting miscreants and a revenge plot to take over an empire is simply too novel to pass up. However, I will only agree to this on one condition, that Dr. Trotson is to allow to join me with full compensation, and that I get to conduct my own investigation on top of my testing services.
My orders are to get some pony who can identify who is and isn't a love-sucking parasite. What you do afterwards is your own business, brother mine. Though I would still take it up with the royalty before doing so. Also, don't worry about you and the doctor. I have 2 train tickets for you both right here.
Splendid. Trotson, grab your coat. We have a train to catch.
As Sherlock grabbed his testing equipment and I gathered the essentials, which Sherlock would invariably forget, or as he would put it, simply decided to not need for the train ride, Mycroft joined Mrs. Hudson in the kitchen to finish her tea and to thank Mrs. Hudson for her hospitality.
Thank you again, Mrs. Hudson, for your cooperation in this matter. His eccentricities aside, Sherlock still would cause less noise than sending an army of investigators, and I prefer to keep the appearance of normality as much as society possibly can.
I am sure whatever adventure you have him on about now, he can handle it. He really is a good detective, even with the stress and mess he puts me through. I'm sure you're proud of him.
Well, I'm more glad he has developed a skill set that I can use to my disposal than proud.
Shame on you, Mycroft Hooves' family is all we have in the end.
Does that family include ones by marriage who have been banished?
Don't be so cruel. You know I don't like talking about that.
My apologies. That was crossing a line.
Mrs. Hudson, have you seen my hat?
It's on the bloomin' hat rack!
Thank you!
I swear those boys will lead to my end. That or their crazy experiments. Sounds like they're about done, though. Trotson always picks up his hat last, when he remembers to wear it.
Splendid. I'll be sure to see them off at the train station for you.
Then we were off, and Sherlock and I boarded the train. Sherlock did not speak much during the entire ride, in spite of my attempts to spark conversation. More than likely going over facts, figures, and unsolved mysteries in that vast expanse of intellect of his. If it weren't for my writing, it would have been a slow trip. When we passed the frozen north, beyond the Crystal Mountains, we initially thought no soul was around in the flurries of snow. But in no time at all, we saw the glorious Crystal Empire, sparkling like a beacon of harmony for all of Equestria. By the time we arrived at the station, it was within the warm borders of the land. 3 armored figures stood waiting for us, and of course, Sherlock figured their identities in less than a second.
Well, hello, Your Highness. I take it your 2 companions are your bodyguards. You must feel strange having been one yourself.
Well, it seems you are as observant as the paper said. I hope you can use it for our little problem. You can call me Shining Armor. I may technically be a prince after marrying Cadence, but that doesn't mean I should be given any special treatment. Not that I can convince these guys yet. They're my most trusted guards. The native giant, Chris Tall,
Sir.
and my old training buddy, Double Edge.
Sir.
Yes, whatever. This is my companion, Dr. Trotson. He points out the obvious and I fill in the important bits. Now, if we're quite done with introductions, might I suggest that we hurry to the castle so that I can set up my tests and begin my investigations immediately?
Ahem. That is, if you'd be so kind, Your Majesty.
Oh, yes, of course. Follow me. Well, it's good to know you're eager to get started. Since the return of the Empire and the fall of Sombra, things have been pretty peaceful. The Crystal Ponies are very happy and carefree as long as the Crystal Heart is safe. I've put most of our security on it for obvious reasons.
Yes, of course. Other than your crystal knickknacks for the tourist, I see the Crystal Empire is in the business of loading crystals away by train.
Oh, yeah, apparently the Equestrian government needs our crystals for some communications project they're working on. I don't know much about it. I leave most of those kinds of decisions to Cadence. Let's grab your bags and, head to the castle.
Splendid. Chris Toll, was it? Your parents must have been original. Do you mind carrying my bags for me? Your stature and muscular build is most suitable for carrying a load of dangerous chemicals, glasswork, syringes, ink, quills, paper, burner, and any other lab equipment I might need. No trouble at all, right?
No problem at all, sir.
Brilliant. That just leaves Double Dragon over there with you then, Trotson.
It's double edge, sir.
I know that very well. I was just alluding to the terrible dragon breath you're sporting. If it continues, it might distract me from a smell that might be a lead. You'd be surprised how often my sense of smell has served in the case.
Yes, sir. My apologies. I'll get right on that.
No need for trouble. I'll just carry my own saddlebags, thank you.
And here we are at the castle. I hope you enjoy your stay, considering the circumstances. I'm sure you'll find whatever you need to conduct your experiment. If you need anything, just let—
Actually, I do. I will need a dark room since the experiment is quite unstable in the presence of light. I will also need background and medical profiles on all the staff in the castle so that I can rule out anyone on the inside, since the most efficient way for the changelings to take their revenge on the royal couple would be to infiltrate here. More than likely, since the changelings feed off of love, and the castle is a beacon from which the Crystal Heart spreads its magical signal of harmony, the Crystal Empire would be a nigh inexhaustible resource due to the Crystal Pony's love for the heart. And also, if the Queen were to be able to manipulate the signal to emit a feeling of love, it would become an unstoppable love bug attractor to allow her to assemble the rest of her scattered army, if she has not already done so by the time she arrived.
Less than an hour and we've already brought down the mood. So much for this being somewhat pleasant. At least I brought that snow globe.
Your theory about what their plan is and what they could do with the Crystal Empire is exactly what I'm afraid of. So, by all means, you'll get what you've requested.
Good. And when I mean profiles on all the staff, that includes all the guards, servants, even you and the princess.
No, hold on. Are you accusing the prince of being a changeling? He's the only one to have spotted them on several occasions. He would also never allow himself to be captured by those shape-shifting monsters.
I am sure Shining Armor can vouch for me when I say that changelings are far craftier than you give them credit for. They blend, seduce, and deceive, making them quite adept at getting the upper hoof on a pony, given the chance.
He's right. We can never be too sure. I have nothing to worry about anyway. It may actually help if 2 of me start running around.
Very well, Your Majesty.
Shining armor aside, what of the princess? We simply can't have you going around with needles and probes near the Crystal Princess.
Double Edge, you worry too much. I assure you I will be fine, and I will gladly take the test.
Princess! But Your Majesty, how can we even trust this stallion?
Yeah. For all we know, he could be a changeling too.
For all we know, the real detective could have been knocked out on the train. Or worse.
Trotson, do you still have that pouch you used back when you were a medic?
Yes, but I don't see why that's important.
You will soon enough. To prove my true identity, we shall need to go first downstairs to the provisional lab we will soon construct.
Simply building the test won't prove our innocence.
And your failure to infer won't help our progression either. Now come, all of us.
Sir?
Yes, we'll go along with this. It's our only plan right now anyway. If he is found to be a changeling, then Edge, I want you to put a smokescreen illusion on him, while Chris pins him down till I can lock him up.
Yes, sir.
Is it really wise to be giving orders to surprise and subdue me while I am still right in front of you?
Sometimes Shining forgets small details like that. He once left his helmet in the shower.
Oh. How do you know that, Cadence?
Because I'm the one that found it for you.
Oh! That's right. What was I thinking?
That's what worries me. Mr. Hooves, the sooner we eliminate any sign of the changelings, the sooner Shining and I will have it out of our minds. So if that means me submitting to the test as well, then by all means do so.
Cadence.
Thank you for your participation, Your Majesty. You and the rest of the staff may line up after I have set up the experiment and gotten everyone's files. I should be able to wrap this all up in a matter of hours.
You don't expect Her Majesty to wait in line, do you?
No, the prince as well.
Honestly, I could care less about the line order as long as it does not affect the efficiency of getting all this done in a timely fashion. Trotson, while they collect the needed data, I will require your assistance in setting up the experiment. Just please remember what does and does not make it explode this time.
For the last bloody time, how was I supposed to know the mixture was photosensitive? Anyway, after we had set up the experiment, we tested every pony at the Crystal Castle to see if they had changeling blood, including ourselves. All the while, Sherlock was memorizing all the bioprofiles of each participant as they were administered. I still don't know how he was able to hold all that information in his head without his brain falling out of his ears. What was more surprising was what happened next.
No changelings?
I'm afraid that is the case, Your Majesty. Sherlock and I found no traces of changeling blood in any pony who works, lives, or even just breeds inside the castle.
That's great news, isn't it, sir? We didn't have to worry about any changeling at all in the first place.
Indeed. Isn't it wonderful, Your Highness? Turns out there are no changelings after all. Shining was just being crazy, is all.
I am not crazy! So no one in the castle is a changeling, but I know they're here. I saw them. They attacked me. We just have to widen our search to all our citizens.
Shining, don't you think having all of our subjects submit to the testing is a little much?
And risk another invasion? Another potential takeover of everyone we know and love? I don't even think that's enough. Not until I can make sure the changelings never come back.
Well, not even I can memorize an entire empire's worth of records. I also believe that I would run out of necessary ingredients to perform the test on that many ponies.
It doesn't matter! I'll get you the ingredients myself if I have to. I won't let those shape-shifting monsters strike again!
Shining, wait! Shining.
Are you alright, Princess Cadence?
I'm not the one we should be worrying about.
He is under a lot of stress right now, Your Majesty. I'm sure that once we find the changelings, everything will be back to normal.
If we find them. For all we know, his mind has been permanently fried since Queen Chrysalis controlled him. Shining was just a little hard-headed when it came to justice. I fear how badly his pursuit has changed him.
I think this is as good a time as any to begin the investigation. Wouldn't you agree, John?
Considering the threat of a mad prince, a changeling invasion, and whatever conspiracies we could come across, it's as good a time as any.
Speaking of the Mad Prince, who better to investigate than the only pony who's seen them?
He's not a mad prince. He's my Shining. And he isn't usually like this. Never this extreme. Something is causing this. He's even been getting headaches like he used to while under the changeling control. I try to cure them, but they just come back.
Something we should inquire about when we find him.
Double Edge, Crystal, search the castle for my husband. But please, don't hurt him.
Yes, Your Majesty.
Maybe while they're doing that, we can discuss the matter with the princess.
Excellent idea, Trotson. Princess Miyamori Cadenza, do you mind if we ask you a few questions?
Not at all, Mr. Hooves. And call me Cadence, please.
Splendid. Feel free to call me Sherlock. The Mr. is boring. Now, we know Shining Armor was the only one to report seeing the changelings, but was there any other evidence that the prince wasn't alone in this encounter?
Not really. No. That is except for a spot in the grass that was in the area, with hoof prints in them. Other than that, there was no sign of anyone being around.
Interesting. And Shining Armor has had a history of having his mind tampered with magically.
Only when Queen Chrysalis was impersonating me. He's been very suspicious of me lately, especially with all the migraines he's been having. I'm afraid these could be caused by some kind of magic, but it could just as easily be all the stress he's been putting himself through, interfering with his own magic.
You know, Trotson, I'm really starting to like this case.
Sherlock, is it really the time to be...
Your Highness, we found Shining Armor out in one of the courtyards. He's gone mad and has started firing magic at civilians.
What? Take me to him, quickly!
Well, Trotson, it looks like we're on the move again. You don't see royalty attacking civilians every day.
That's a good thing, you know. There runs off again. Darn my leg.
Stand back!
Sir, it's me, Chris. Just calm down. There are no changelings around.
How do you know? A changeling nearly shot me and now he's gone. For all I know, you're the changeling. You're just telling me to calm down so you can take me out without anyone noticing, right? Well, too bad. I'm out in the open, and nothing is going to get near me without a bolt of magic aimed right at them!
Sir, please be reasonable. Just calm down and quietly come towards me. You can trust me.
I said stay back!
Ah! My hoof!
Good thing we've arrived just in the nick of time with the former medic. Trotson, could you... Trotson?
Yes, I'm here.
And you fuss at me for not exercising after I eat desserts, and yet you're clearly the one neglecting his physical therapy.
Oh, shut up. Chris, slowly back away from him so I can heal that burn.
But... okay.
Shining! What in my aunt's name are you doing?
I was going to get more ingredients for the detective, but I then realized I didn't know what they were. So I was minding my own business walking through the grass here, and then this changeling shows up out of nowhere, hiding in the shade of the trees over there. Begins to fire his magic at me. Before I knew it, the changelings were everywhere. Every pony around was shape-shifting into those pests. I had to defend myself, and I will continue until the changelings are found. I'll even use my shield if I have to. Ah! That is a warning to all you bugs that might be watching me.
Stand still, Chris. Is he just gonna stand in the middle of that field firing and babbling all day till we find some proof he's not crazy?
He can be so stubborn sometimes, especially when he's afraid of losing something he cares for.
A princess and an empire is a lot for one pony to lose. I assure you, Princess, I will get down to the bottom of this. In fact, I already have a clue.
You do?
Ouch!
Oops, sorry, but that should fix up that hoof good as new.
Splendid. Now that Bluebell over here,
Chris Tall.
whatever, has recovered, he and Double Tang
Double Edge.
can get the jump on him using the same method that Shining Armor was going to use on me before he has the chance to react. I need you to keep him distracted while we do this. Shining will see it coming otherwise.
You can't seriously be suggesting we capture the prince.
What choice do we have? We can't have him running around like a lunatic and attacking any pony that comes by. Who knows what he'll do once he decides that's not enough?
Take him to his royal chambers afterwards.
Your Majesty, does that mean...
Shining!
Cadence? Is that really you?
Yes, sweetheart, it's me. Can't you trust me? Your own wife?
Yes, but isn't that exactly what someone trying to trick me disguised as you would say? How do I know you're not Chrysalis making her move?
Because, Shining, you're my husband and I love you. What do I have to say to prove to you that's the truth?
Nothing. For all I know, the real Cadence could have been taken at any time when I wasn't watching. For all I know, she's trapped. Alone. Maybe with her memory stolen, or worse! It's all my fault. I couldn't protect her before our wedding. I couldn't even perform my duty and protect Canterlot. What hope do I have as to protect her and an entire empire?
Shining, there's no need to worry. I'm right here. Please.
Liar! This is a trick to get my guard down. And it's not going to work this time, Chrysalis!
I beg to differ. Now!
Smoke! Screen!
I'm sorry, sir. I have orders to follow.
Let go of me, you love parasites!
Double Edge,
Yes, Princess Cadence?
would you please secure my husband?
Yes, Your Majesty. Allow me a moment to charge it.
I knew this was a trick. I should have paid more attention. I'll get you for this, Chrysalis. I'll find the real Cadence, and I'll make sure you never feast on my love again.
Take him away to his quarters.
Yes, ma'am.
Your Majesty, if there is anything I can do.
No! Just go. I'll be in my throne room. Sherlock, if you have a plan, I suggest to utilize soon. I'm running out of ideas.
Did you notice that I actually had to ask her to call me by my name? And every pony else has just been referring to me as Detective, when my full title is Consulting Detective.
Sherlock, shouldn't we be focusing on more important things like, I don't know, maybe a plan like the princess suggested? The mayor's close to tears, and you're upset about your title?
I was just pointing out facts, old Trotson. Anyway, my plan is simple. I'm going to walk over to the indent in the grass under the tree that the prince pointed out.
That's your plan? Looking at an indentation in the grass?
Well, not just that, of course not, that's just the first part. Now that we have Shining restrained, it will be far easier to interrogate him. And with his level of magical power, he should be awake from that knockout spell in a short time.
But what?
Because clearly he's at the root of all of this. Wouldn't you agree?
I suppose so. I still fail to see how a barely visible indent in the grass is going to help us solve this mystery.
It's not barely visible, John. Whoever stood here had a good amount of weight to them, at least far more than a hole-filled insect like Changeling would.
So, if it wasn't a changeling then, what was it?
That is indeed the question. Let's hurry back. I have a few spots I wish to investigate, as well as some suspects to interrogate.
That was Sherlock's plan at least, but the Hoof of Fate had other ideas. Goodness, why does the crystal pony architecture involve so many stairs?
To spare both our knees, we'll stop by the throne room and address the princess. Then we'll make our way to Shining's room. By then he should be awake enough to talk.
You don't think the princess is involved in this, do you?
It is a possibility, Trotson.
Yeah, but it's also a possibility that we're fictional characters, but what are the odds of that?
The point is that we must exhaust all possibilities in order to find the truth. Cadence has been impersonated before, if you will recall.
Yes, but she can't be a changeling though. She passed your test after all.
When it comes to most things, you will find there's always a way to cheat. Looks like we'll be having to put that princess's tea party on hold. Come, Trotson.
Oh, just great. More stairs.
Out of my way!
There's the prince. He's likely heading towards the throne room. We have to go after him.
No, John, we have to check the guards. There might be a clue we'll miss if we don't check the scene of the assault now.
Which is more important, saving a head of state or possibly solving the mystery?
If I'm as brilliant as I know I am, then I know I can do both. Now hurry!
Ah! My face!
What happened here?
The prince was stronger than I thought. He burst open the door, knocking Chris out. Then when he saw me, he fired a blast and burnt my face.
Yes, and now he's loose about the castle with the princess unguarded in her throne room. Probably should have stopped Shining from sending the rest of the guards searching the Empire for the changelings after we were done taking the samples.
The princess! My lady! I must save her.
We should go down and help.
And leave a wounded guard pony here laying on the floor.
You're right. Help me take off his helmet.
There we go.
Seems he got a blow straight to the head. Some bruising underneath his coat, but there doesn't appear to be any real damage to the back of his head and neck, thanks to his helmet.
Did you say the back of his head? Oh, Trotson, this case has just been fantastic! Oh, I feel so foolish for not seeing it earlier. Let's have a little chat in the throne room, and we better do it quickly before Simponi gets hurt.
What? Can you at least tell me what in the wild world of Equestria you were able to figure out so quickly?
I'll explain momentarily, but all you need to know right now is that I found the key to this mystery.
Gah! Chrysalis!
Shining! I thought you were in your room being guarded.
More like imprisoned while you and your changeling army tried to take over the Crystal Empire.
Shining, no.
Enough of your lies, monster. Where's Cadence? So help me, if you hurt her...
The only monster here is you. Don't worry, Your Highness. I'll protect you from this mad prince.
Don't move! For all I know, you're one of them too, Double Edge.
You see what I mean, Your Highness? He would go so far as to threaten me, his friend, of treason against your empire. He is too far gone, Your Majesty. Must be dealt with immediately. I will do what I must to protect you and the empire. If that means taking over where he has failed, then so be it.
What are you talking about? Replace Shining? No. I will not allow this. Our love will find a way.
Princess, be reasonable. Do you want a stallion who will turn his back on you and treat you like a traitorous monster? I could never do that to you. I would never let such foolish thoughts even cross my mind. Shining's fear has driven him beyond the brink.
I believe I should make it clear there is only one traitorous monster, and it is neither Princess Cadence nor Shining Armor.
Huh?
I must say, though, I am almost impressed with your performance. The stage lost a great actor when you joined the Guard. I admit at first I was a bit stumped and almost began to think that the prince had indeed lost his mind. It wouldn't be the first head of state in equestrian history to go on a rampage. Within this very empire, in fact. However, in one swift motion, all the clues came together by the simplest of mistakes.
What in Equestria are you talking about? We don't have time for such foolishness.
Oh, but you had plenty of time to shoot your partner in the back of the head when he wasn't turned to you, as well as to the door. Meaning the prince would have had to open the door, swing round, and shoot Crystal all before he noticed and turned. Very coordinated for a deranged stallion.
Shining was always one of the swiftest ponies back in the Guard Academy. What of it? I fail to see how this implicates me if he could have done the same just as easily.
Perhaps, but then there's the lie you told about the prince shooting a blast off the wall and into your face as well.
What are you talking about? I didn't blast any pony with magic, I just burst down the door.
Finally, some truth comes to light.
Then if Shining didn't blast me, how can you explain the searing magic burn on my face?
Oh, come now, isn't it obvious? You did it to yourself to further prove the prince is a delusional and paranoid lunatic. No offense, Your Highness.
None taken, I think.
Why would I potentially scar myself just to get at him? And for what? Besides, how can you even prove I did this to myself? These accusations are pointless and getting us nowhere. Cadence, Majesty, call the order and I shall rid you of Shining and make sure he gets put in a proper asylum for his troubles.
You'd like that, wouldn't you? Then you'd only have Cadence to manipulate your way to the throne.
You accuse me of treason? I have been a member of the Royal Guard nearly as long as Shining Armor. My loyalty is not the one in question. His is, and I'm beginning to suspect yours is as well. I don't know we can trust this detective, Your Highness.
Let him speak. If he knows what's troubling Shining, then he is worth listening to.
Thank you, Princess. Indeed, I know exactly what's wrong with Shining. You see, Shining is telling the truth about not shooting any pony. In fact, if Shining had shot that bolt at the angle it did, judging by the scorch mark on the uneven crystal walls, we'd see the prince sporting a mark of his own, but instead it's on some pony else. In fact, with the test of the magical residue, I can make sure of it by the color of his magic.
Fine then! Maybe I did shoot the bolt, but it was an accident. I swear by the Royal Sisters. I panicked and shot at the wall, but there was a struggle when he escaped.
I might have been able to believe you, if it wasn't for that one fatal mistake I mentioned earlier that holds the key. A literal key, in fact.
What are you talking about?
This key was in the door to Shining Armor's room, unlocked. You led Shining Armor to believe he knocked down the door, but in reality you opened it after you took care of the witness and gave yourself an alibi. Then Shining would leave and seek the princess. You would take the key and no one would have been the wiser as you came and sent the prince away, becoming the hero of the Crystal Empire, savior of the Mad Prince. A little optimistic if you ask me, but an enjoyable ruse nonetheless. You might have gotten away with it too, the getting rid of Shining Armor at any rate. However, you did not expect me and Trotson showing up. You kept up your act though, knowing that one slip-up could cost you the throne. You couldn't merely take the key out in front of us without giving yourself away, so you ran off to save the princess, hoping we wouldn't notice. But I did notice. Noticing is what I do best. I notice every detail. Like the files I read on the staff. I noticed that you, Double Edge, mentioned having been guard mates with Shining Armor since the Academy. In the Academy, while Shining focused his magical ability on protecting others, your focus was on illusions. In fact, if there's any pony in this room that's an expert in casting something in an untrue light, it's you. You see, your highnesses, the changelings were indeed not real, and in Shining Armor's head. However, he isn't the one who put them there, technically speaking. I read the report in the Canterlot wedding incident. Actually, I was there, trying to buy a really tasty blueberry muffin that day at this quaint little pastry shop past North Clydesdale Street. But then it got covered in that nasty changeling goo, and... well, the point is, Shining Armor had reported headaches when he was under the Queen's control. That's why he accused Cadence of being Chrysalis, but the only pony with the know-how to cast such spells to cause headache-inducing hallucinations and near-perfect illusions of changelings was the double-faced pony standing in front of us now.
Double Edge. Why?
Why? Why? Even after that idiot detective has practically spelled it out for you, you still don't get it. You were always weak, always ready to believe what your eyes told you. Time to open them, Shining. Oh, excuse me, Prince Shining Armor. Everything always came so easy for you. It wasn't enough that you became the captain of the guard and my boss, but to have your sister be Celestia's #1 student, to be so magically inclined, to defeat the Changeling Queen and her horde, making the rest of us look like helpless little fools. And to throw salt in the wound, you had to be the knight in shining armor to marry the pretty pink princess with a land now all her own to rule, while you just sit back and get the admiration of an entire empire. What do I get out of all this? Your old academy buddy who worked just as hard to get where I am? I end up being sent to serve you, of all ponies. It's enough to drive any pony to do something drastic. So I decided to use my training for a truly useful purpose instead of helping ungrateful fools. That purpose being myself. I thought making you out to be insane was my ticket to get you out of the way into a better life. It would be just enough to get rid of you, but I figured, why just ruin you when I could take what's been owed to me for so long? I would then get the princess to see me as her true hero, and far more worthy than you. If that wouldn't work, I could always just persuade her. But then she had to be all uncooperative, and on top of it all, a self-righteous detective was sent to ruin my plans. I could have become so much more than you, Shining. I could have become a king. No, emperor!
Double Edge, you're under arrest for conspiracy, treason, and betraying my trust.
Crystal! Oh, thank goodness. Seems he's more than alright now.
Get the other guards and take him away. We'll decide on his punishment after he spends a few nights in the dungeon. Shining, are you alright?
I'm a lot better now, knowing that those changelings were really in my head and not even my own fault.
I wouldn't say that entirely. I needed a base to scare you senseless. What better way than your biggest failure?
That's enough. Time for you to be arrested, and time for me to go home and get some decent tea. Although this case has been brilliant. It's not every day you stop a conspiracy.
Sherlock?
What?
Timing.
Not good?
A bit not good, yeah.
Remember when I said I could have been so much more than you, Shining? I was wrong. I will be more than you. Just you wait and see.
What? Where did he go?
I should have guessed a pony who specializes in illusions would create one of himself to escape. The real Double Edge must have disguised himself and cast an accurate projection here to do his dirty work. More than likely he did so, hoping we would come here to see the commotion while he snuck back to the room and fetched the key.
Quickly! He couldn't have gone far! I want all the guards mobilized and searching the entire castle, immediately!
Yes, sir!
Unfortunately, try as we might, Double Edge had all but vanished from the scene.
He may have escaped, but I think with detectives like you two, justice will find its way.
Just like our love, Shining?
Of course. I'm sorry I went so crazy back there, hon. I guess the changeling incident hit me harder than I realized.
It's okay. You weren't being yourself. Your mind was being toyed with, and not for the first time.
It's only one detective, by the way. Trotson is my associate.
Associates? Excuse me?
Sorry, my... friend?
Better.
Regardless, without you, we could have had a coup on our hooves. We couldn't thank you enough.
Surely there's something we can do for you, too.
Well, it would be a shame to waste all those personnel files we made just for the case, and you never know when exact knowledge of a select group of highly trained guards ponies might be useful. Also, don't call me Shirley.
Though some bits would be appreciated, we do have rent to pay.
Oh, yes. And that too, I suppose.
Certainly. It's the least we can do.
After that, we wished each other a fond farewell, and each party agreed that they would not rest till Double Edge is someday brought to justice. As Sherlock and I boarded the train back home to Canterlot, I couldn't help but wonder how such a well-trained and talented guard pony could have become so corrupt, bitter, and obsessed. Of course, Sherlock had his own answer.
The aspect of want is a double-edged sword, John. It helps drive us forward in our ambitions, and is the main force towards the completion of our goals. But it can also consume us if it is not satisfied.
I wondered at the time if Sherlock himself could ever become so entranced by his own self-inflicted and nigh impossible goals, and I feared what would happen if he did. What kind of stallion would he become in that kind of state? I was grateful to be his companion. He needs someone to ground him in reality sometimes. Then again, don't we all?
My first case for royalty. Quite interesting, but too mired in politics. I'll leave that to my sister from now on.
I don't know, Sherlock. Could be the start of something.
Before you begin entertaining thoughts of grandeur, Trotson, let's get on with the credits,
Right. You've been listening to The Adventures of Sherlock Hooves, A Crystal Crisis, starring Shirley as Sherlock Hooves.
And Justin DeRama as Dr. Trotson, with the fangirl as Mycroft Hooves and Hannah Kay as Mrs. Hudson.
The roles of Shining Armor and Princess Cadence were played by Zigbar Assassin and Dream of Serenity.
Double Edge was played by Jenga, and Chris Toll by Dakuri.
Additional voices were provided by Sonic Ring Dubs 123, MLG1, and... hang on, Pierce Smolder was in this? When? Who?
I'm not sure. I'm certain I would have observed that. Well, I'm sure it's not important.
But Sherlock!
Anyway, the script was written by Codemaster C and edited by the fangirl.
Oh, fine. Audio editing was done by Trademark, Jenga, Tristan, Sonic Ring Dubs 123, and Lightning Blast. Original music was composed by Auron Rift and special guest Panoink. All additional media was used under the Fair Use Doctrine.
Original artwork created by Kota Awesome. My Little Pony Friendship is Magic is the property of Hasbro, and the adventures of Sherlock Holmes are credited to Sir Arthur Conan Doyle and the Doyle Foundation.
See you next episode.
I can't believe how low I've fallen, reduced to hiding away in a moving carpet filled with these very sharp crystals. Ow! I don't know what I'm going to do next. I'm a wanted stallion now. It's all that Sherlock Hooves' fault. That blasted detective ruined everything. Yeah, that's what I'll do. If I can't have the Empire, the least I could do is get revenge on him and his doctor lackey.
Do you know you talk to yourself? And also trespassing on a royal material transport carriage?
Oh? Well, would you look at that? My horn is glowing with a very powerful spell. Just allow me to go on my way, and neither of us will have a problem then,
I heard you say something about a detective, correct? A Air Hooves?
Yes, what of it? You're not going to report me, are you?
No, you must understand. You see, my employer is also a fan of this Sherlock character in much the same way you are.
I am no fan of his.
Perhaps not. But you and my employer would both like to stop his meddling in other ponies' affairs. Perhaps you could work for us. With her grand mind, I'm sure she could make use of a disgruntled unicorn guard like yourself, no problem.
Alright, you have my interest. Who exactly is this mysterious employer of yours?
Given her line of work, she prefers to not give out names until she knows she can trust you. Or if she knows you will outlive your usefulness before you have a chance to tell anyone.
Well then, how am I to address her if I am to work with her?
Simply call her Professor. I am Talon, her right claw griffin.
I'm Double Edge. I'm a master of illusion.
Well, Double Edge, I think the Professor will certainly be able to fit you into her plan.
If that plan involves my revenge against Sherlock Hooves, then count me in.
Brilliant. We'll start right away.
Are you?
Yes, but we'll have to do something about that face of yours. Such a nasty burn. And where we're going, you can't be recognized. We can't have you arrested the moment you step a hoof into Canterlot, can we? Talon, fit our new friend for an eye patch. He sorely needs it.
But my eye is...
Yes, Professor.
Why can't I move? What are you doing? No. No, please. Don't. No!
Just how I like them. Screaming and begging.